Hello everyone and welcome to Mugello for round 1 of the 2017.2 South African simGT series. And we're looking for an exciting race this evening, and welcomed in the commentary booth by Gert and Werner Heenop. Welcome gentlemen.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Thank you very much, Jason. Looking forward to some awesome sim racing, start of the second part of the 2017 season. Fantastic stuff, and it's time for qualifying.
Yeah, we're just under 11 minutes remaining of qualifying, and the man to put on provisional pole position for now is Bashir Jadwat with a 46.681, with teammate Marcus staying just behind him with a 48.395. Expect those times to drop as the session progresses.
Of course, not a very long session. Really do want to make those lap times count. Watching the from within the pits, watching to see where everyone is on track, when you can exit, judging distance between yourself and the car in front of you, making sure that there's enough space. Should the car in front of you make a small mistake, whether or not you can still pass them, sit behind them. It's a tricky situation because you want to maximize these 15 minutes that you do get, and with an out lap taking anything between 1.5 to 2 minutes, you know, there's not that many chances to start over.
Okay, Jason, you with Bashir at the moment?
Yes, I am.
Okay, fantastic. As he goes to provisional pole 147.692, he's coming up back behind Brent Lindsay Ray here. He's on his, he has done his out lap. He's on a hot lap at the moment. Christopher Langeveld, one of the rookies in the field, quite impressive, 148.2. He's in second place. Marcus Steyn at third, 148.3. Expect something from Gabriel Rousseau. He did a 147.1 in the last chance qualifiers. Still 8 minutes to go in this qualifying session.
Yeah, Chris Langeveld's on debut this season in the GTM class, of course, for the drivers racing for the first time in our Pro Series season. And Chris Langeveld has really been on form since he really started with us. Starting out in the open racing event section that we run, and decided to try his hand in the Pro Series qualifiers firstly, and then he made it. He qualified for the top split in the South African simGT series, what you are watching now. And yes, certainly on pace, second fastest, just 6/10 behind Bashir Jadwat.
Lots of people on debut in the simGT series. So nice to see a couple of old faces back. Chris Brown stands out like a sore thumb right there because of it. Welcome back, Mr. Brown. Missed you, Yoda.
Yeah, he certainly showed what he can still do in the M2 series race that we had a week ago. That's a qualifier race to get into this race. And Chris Brown finished 8th overall, if I'm not mistaken, after starting
like
well on the field.
Or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Also great to see all the new livery designs that the teams have come up with, such as this one by Redline Racing. That Chris Langeveld and Peter Holden-Jones have teamed up to be a part of. And I expect Chris Langeveld and Peter Holden-Jones to be very strong this season. And clearly Chris Langeveld's got a good hand on this BMW and is no doubt imparting his knowledge to Peter Holden-Jones. Holden-Jones was also an AM class driver, but last season, and he steps up to the GT Pro class.
Nice to see guys that's been around for about a season or so, like Leandro Sparks, Matthew Boy, Nick Hodgen, currently running in the top 10. Very good mix currently. The field is a very good mix of old hands, new talent. Definitely making for a very exciting season of sim racing.
And there we can see Gabriel Rousseau, fastest lap, 147.6, just inches ahead of Bashir.
That might not even be an inch. That might be the breath of Selma Hayek.
Yeah, just not even 700ths of a second between Rousseau and Jadwat at the moment. So, of course, Gabriel Rousseau, the defending champion for the season after winning the 2017.1 Drivers' Championship. And he's looking to defend that title. And certainly Bashir Jadwat will be one they'll be trying to take it away from him. As I'm sure that you understand Kat after winning the championship last year.
Absolutely. There's no time to relax. It's basically knowing that people will come out gunning for you. And so expect big things from Gabriel. Obviously looking to retain his title, or at least put up a decent defense of it.
And as we said, that Gabriel Rousseau improves by 0.2 of a second to produce a 47.4 lap time. So 0.3 away from his best so far. That I did do a 47.1 during the weekend. And just 0.3 shy of that now. Currently hanging on to provisional pole position. We've also seen Chase Gunther also move up to third position after sort of being down with 6th, 7th, I think it was. So he's done a 48.1. So Chase Gunther, the best of the BMW drivers so far. But it's all Audis on the front row at this moment. We've just got under 4 minutes remaining.
Gustav Jacobs is in 7th place, another one of our debutantes, 148.7. Quite close, looking at 6th, 7th, 8th, Matthew Boy, 9th, Nick Hodgson, all within a 0.15 of a second of each other. Wesley Ferrand in 10th, another debutant. Wayne Wortley, Nazim Edwards, Yassine Ismail, they're all new and this is their first race in the GT series.
They're doing a fantastic job when you think that there's almost 50 competitors this season. 48 is the number. And to see the new guys coming up through the Open Racing Series and up into the Pro Series qualifiers and doing well. Straight away, it's fantastic to see a nice injection of talent into the Sim Race South Africa talent pool. Langerfeldt bettering his best delta so far by a 1/10 of a second. Let's see if he can maintain the momentum through the last corner we go. In for Gert, driving has got up 2/10 on his best delta time. Across the line we go. Let's see what he can do. This should net him third position if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Langerfeldt goes third at 47.978.
Interesting to note, Bashir is on the medium tyres, so is Chase and Marcus Steyn. Probably just working better for them around this track.
Preparation for the commentary stint tonight, I took out a few of these cars offline around the track just to see what their handling capabilities were with the updates to Assetto Corsa, you know, how these cars would handle, basically get a feel of what the new Audi does. And I must admit, I immediately went quicker in the Audi after running a few warm-up laps with my trusty old Nissan. The Datsun just doesn't do it anymore. It's as if they are following the trends of the Blancpain series. They're following the trends of the other GT3 competitions around the world. And they've definitely, over the course of the last year or two, nerfed the crap out of that Nissan. The point where it's very difficult for that Nissan to remain extremely competitive, even at expansive tracks like Mugello. That Audi seems the way to go at the moment. Really, really quick. And it has been a car that's been doing really well on the circuit around the world. So one of the things with that car that I noticed while driving it was that the rear tires, especially on softs, they tend to cook very quickly, and it's very difficult to get it back from an overheated state. So hence the reason that a lot of these guys, especially the guys in the Audis, are running the medium tires in qualification right now.
We see the guys come across the line, 4 seconds remaining. Gabriel So does improve, 147.118. A couple of guys still to cross the finish line. As we look at Marcus Steyn, currently running in 5th. As you said now, Gert, it's interesting to note the Audi R8 is by far the most popular choice for the second part of the 2017 season. 10 of the drivers today choosing the R8.
It's basically like that, you know. It's a new car that came out now. It's an update to an already existing car, Comentator Corsa. But instead of removing the old car, or just replacing it, they've added this new car to the roster, which is always a good thing. You don't necessarily want to see content removed, but at the same time, like I said, they an extremely competitive car over the last couple of seasons, and them including it in the latest pack, you know, is obviously an indication of that. The same thing happened when the Nissan came out like 2 or 3 seasons ago, or 3 years ago. The moment the Nissan came out, because of the Nissan success during that period in 2014 on the GT3 circuit, everyone drove that Nissan, and it was by many as an extremely overpowered car in GT racing in a set. But over time, it's as if they slowly but surely nerfed it a bit, or made other cars catch up to the Nissan a bit, and changes the tire models, aerodynamics, that sort of thing, basically leveled the playing field tremendously, to the point where you simply cannot put money on the Nissan anymore. Do extremely well in a race. It's now all down to what you can squeeze out of a setup, how quickly you can do it, and whether or not you can actually get the car to do what you want it to do.
Yeah,
right
I would
now,
expect
you'll
that
see all these guys make the Audi work, and that's what you can expect to see for the next few races in the sim.
Yeah, I would expect the sort of the heavier Nissan to battle around Mugello through the fast corners as well, sort of overheating the tires, just like what you're explaining there. You perhaps may see the Nissan come good at Monza, perhaps.
I actually found that the Nissan, you know, with running just slightly lower camber, you can actually drive 4, 5, 6 laps on soft tires around here without having the tires overheat too much. So the Nissan's actually not that bad on tires.
Yeah.
It's not so much the tire issue. I mean, I used soft tires at Bathurst in the first event for 2017 in Season 1. I used soft tires in that event. And you can imagine how that top section, the mountainy section at Bathurst, will actually chow into tires. But the moment it gets red towards the end of that section, you hit 1 or 2 straights and the tires cool right down. So the Nissan's not that bad on tires. It is more how the car behaves elsewhere on the track. It's not one of the better behaved vehicles. Actually quite ridiculous in places. Not the easiest to get it on the track. Nothing like it was 2 years ago. Nothing. It's a shadow of its former self.
Then we were around 20 seconds away from the start of the formation lap, which will see pace pole position man Gabriel will so lead the field around the pace lap at a steady pace, backing up the field, keeping on everyone together. We as the commentators are going to leave the grid. We can get out of their way. Do that now. You don't do what I did a while ago.
Right, I don't see myself standing in the start-finish straight, so I'm good.
Werner, would you like to take us through the grid?
Okay, so in pole position, Gabriel Rousseau, with him on, with him in second jump. Sorry, let me just see here. Bashir is starting in second.
Yes.
Christopher Langeveld, a debutant, he's starting in third, with Chase Gunther on the medium tyres in fourth. Marcus Steyn in fifth, followed by Leandro Sparks, Gustav Jacobs, another debutant, starting in seventh, followed by Matthew Boy and Nick Hodgson in ninth. Amri Sieneran finishes off the top 10 for starting positions. Then we get to Chris Heineke and Peter Geldnys in 11th and 12th. Wesley Ferrand, another debutant, starting in 13th. Chris Brown, 14th. Tim Smith, 15th. Wayne Wortley, starting in 16th. He's in GTR. Shiraz Dada, another GTR, starting in 17th. Brent Lindsay Ray, he swapped his Ferrari for an R8 and he's starting in 18th place. Nazim Edwards and Yassine Ismail, two more debutants, starting in 19th and 20th. Only Ferrari on the track is Matthew Boy. And then we also have one Lamborghini, Wesley Ferrand, opting to go with the Hurricane. As we come around the last turn, left-hander Buccine corner, and it's speed up time. Gabriel Rousseau leading the pack. Come to the home stretch, and it's all systems go.
And we got Chris Langeveld immediately under attack here by Chase Gunther. Will Gunther have a go into the first corner? I'm sure he will, around the outside if he can.
And he will make this stick. Great move. Oh, he drifts wide. Gives Langeveld more chance to get back up at the inside. Chase Gunther backs down. Marcus Steyn in fifth. He's under a bit of pressure from Leandro Sparks. No position changes as of yet. All drivers in the positions they started. On board now with Chase Gunther. They come to two very quick right-handers, Arabiata 1 and Arabiata 2. I hope
Sounds like some delicious deli bread.
I hope I pronounced these Italian names right.
You're doing a fine job, Werner. I've got an Italian friend and she read the names out to me and you pretty much got a spot on there, so not to worry.
Okay, I still have 13 other turns to go. Let's see how I do.
Yeah.
You're just missing the accent. It's like Arabiata.
But
Casanova.
you don't see my hand gestures. That's the
Oh, we've got
key.
some action in the background. We've got to go further back here. It's very tight.
We got one
Fantastic.
position change so far. Yassine Ismail has overtaken Nazim Edwards at the back of the field. As we with Wesley Ferrand now in the Lamborghini. He comes around the last turn. Buccine onto the home straight.
Let's see how the Nissan does against the Audi Cat. Down the main straight we go. And when Wortley closes the gap to Tim Smith, he's edging towards him. Is it enough? Not quite. I think Wayne's got another Nissan towards his left. Yes, he does. Here comes Shiraz Dada on the outside. Dada very late on the brakes. Dada's going to make that move stick. Look at that. Excellent move there by Shiraz Dada in the white Nissan. And he takes that 16th position away from Wayne Wortley.
Experience showing there a little bit.
Absolutely.
Having spent a season or two, or a season and a half longer in the Nissan than Wayne Wortley.
Shiraz Dada clocking 275 kilometers an hour on that straight, top speed so far for the race.
Yeah, top speed was never the problem with the Nissan. It's taming the beast in the corners that was the issue, and it became increasingly difficult over the last season or two.
But do you think if you can manage that cornering of the GTR, you can probably keep up to the Audis?
You know something? The last big tire update changed things dramatically for the Nissan. On the old tire model that was in the Assetto Corsa, the Nissan was almost unstoppable.
Oh, we got Heenop off into the barrier.
Oh!
He will drop down from 10th position. That's unfortunate for Chris Heenop of HRT, of course, a team principal of Heineken Racing Team. And that is not what he wanted to start his campaign.
I'm hoping he didn't pick up too much damage though, because, you know, he did so well up until this point.
Leandre Sparks losing a lot of places as well. He started in 6th, he's down to 10th now. It wasn't a good lap for him.
See Lindsay Ray putting a move on, who is that? His teammate Yazin Ismail. This is two of the Echo Racing cars, the team entering 4 cars this season. As we see Wayne Wortley putting a move. Oh, and here comes the Audi straight back past. So Ismail takes it back from Wortley. He's goes straight back up into 17th position. This is the fight for 5th position. Marcus Steyn has got Gustav Jacobs and Nick Hodgson right behind him. So this battle developing nicely. These three on their way to meet these two, Chase Gunther and Chris Langeveld. So we're looking to have a 5-way battle for 3rd position at the moment. So it's all looking very competitive. No one really showing an advantage or showing their hand at this stage.
Still a very long way to go. So Jason, did you increase the race distance from 80 to 90 minutes? Or was it always
yes,
90?
I did keep it as 90. I think I did talk about making it 80, but I don't think I ever changed it really to 80. So I decided to maintain the 90 minutes for this new season as well.
For the folks watching back home, a couple of things to note about the 2017.2 season. There will be no success ballast. Instead, it's replaced. The balance of performance is taken into account. So the cars are restricted based on the lap times, the live world record lap times, and cars are then restricted. The McLaren got the highest restriction, then the Lamborghini, Ferrari, BMW, all the way down to the Mercedes, to even out the field before the first race so that we get cars that are on an even footing. Then also only one qualifying series, BMW M2 series, that feeds into the GTR or the GT series. 15 of those drivers qualify for this race, and then the last chance qualifier, 5 spots up for grabs in the last chance qualifier. And the AM split has been replaced by a challenge split, or renamed the challenge, and that will take place on Wednesdays.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to that race on Wednesday evening, as we see Nick Hodgson using an interesting line there. I think it's Scarperia call, if not mistaken.
Chase Gunther in the pits. He was in the pits. Am I right? Yeah.
Yes, it looks like he's dropped down to 20th position. So that is
That is
unfortunate.
unfortunate.
I think Chase had issues during the last M2 race too with his line, and I think it might be happening again.
He was in 18th when he entered, so he must have
Okay.
gotten.
Someone's gone off.
This is a
Yes,
notorious
rich.
track for going farming. It's
Yeah.
so easy in places. You miss a brake marker just by a little bit, and some of these off-cambered corners can actually spit your car out into the sand pits, and worse still, even into barriers. So there's one of those highly technical tracks that you cannot afford to lose concentration on.
Yeah, I feel like the corner is almost deceptive in a way. They're sort of very fast and can catch you out very easily if you just miss your brake marker, as you say, by not much at all, and soon you'll be off.
I mean, the final corner on this track, for instance, it's a perfect example of that. If you brake too early, you can very easily lose half a second to a second on your lap if you brake just a little bit too early, and you need to coast just a little bit longer. If you brake a little bit too late, it will spit you out on the other side into the sand pits. It's a track that you absolutely have to concentrate on for 50 laps. You cannot let up. Inconsistency here will come back to bite you.
For me personally, it's a very enjoyable track. I do enjoy it. It's challenging, but it's really fun.
It is a very enjoyable track. It's one of my favorites. It's easily in my top 5.
I totally agree.
It's the kind of track that you can race on with any car, and it will be fun.
Chase Gunther in the pits again.
Yeah, so Chase Gunther, Dodge and Gut Racing, of course, defending their team's title this season. But Chase definitely having problems in round 1, and not exactly how they would want to kick off their campaign.
Absolutely.
We see Shiraz Dada up into 12th position, so Shiraz Dada has really put on some pace here. And showing what the NIS can do, and as I said, the nearly runs off the track unless it's a line that he's normally using. But having a good scrappy with Tim Smith in the number 223 Audi.
Am I seeing that correctly? That Nissan's got the Liqui Moly logo on it.
Yes, it does.
You go.
And Shiraz Dada just the last of the qualifiers for this race as well. In fact, Mark Mugello, who qualified for the race, could not race this evening. And Shiraz Dada said, "Thank you very much. I'll have the spot," as he was the next man in line for it. And here he is, doing so well, up into 12th position, looking strong, looking to take it to the midfield, and perhaps notch up a top 10 finish if he can, and a nice solid points haul.
No, he started in 17th. Already made it 5 places in the first 7 laps. Great
So
job.
did Chris Brown. I mean, look at him. He's currently sitting in the top 10 position. And I think he started in 14th.
Yes.
Absolutely. Here's Chris Brown now in the black, very pretty looking BMW, the black with the BMW stripes across it. Also part of the mixed racing team, the new team for the season, headed up by Gabriel Rousseau and Amrish Sinarain. And Chris Brown and Kevin Lawrence are the other team that they're leading. Mixed racing white and black. And Chris Brown is part of the mixed racing black team. Kevin Lawrence unfortunately not qualified for this race, but let's see what he can do for round 2. And yeah, Chris Brown looking strong, continuing his stunning comeback here at Sim Race South Africa. Peter Krobler in the Facebook live chat. Yes, this is the top split for the South African simGT series. The second and the third split is on Wednesday evening. You're very welcome to come back and join us, Peter. We're missing you this season.
Bit of a gap developing there between Gabriel and Bashir, and between Bashir and Nick Hodgson.
Nick Hodgson doing a fantastic job. He started 9th, already up to 3rd.
The benefits of keeping your nose clean.
Yeah, just being consistent.
On what tyres is Nick running right now?
On mediums.
Yeah, it's on the mediums.
Bashir and Marcus?
Bashia's on hards and Marcus on hards as well.
I think right there might be one of your answers.
Yeah. But of course, we may see the Ghostworks cars of Bashir, Jadwat, and Marcus going much longer in this race, which also has its benefits. Where
Maybe
you
not
might
changing
see Gabriel So as well. You might have to quit, sort of pit midway through the race and fall back into traffic for a while, which will allow Bashir, Jadwat, and Marcus to disappear up the road a bit more before they have to do their pit stop. So interesting play here by Ghostworks. Let's see how this plays out. It's not over yet. Yes, Gabriel So has a 7-second lead at the moment, but when you put the strategies together, it might not be enough. Who knows? We're going to find out.
Well, you have to give that at least to kudos. When it comes to longer format racing, the changes in tire models really did spice things up a little bit. I mean, I remember a time where it was as simple as putting medium tires on the car for a race and soft tires for qualifying, and that's it. And qualifying was easily 2 seconds a lap faster than mediums. It's no longer the case. It's become a little bit more intricate now.
Someone else who's having a stunning race is Amir Sinarain, currently in 7th position. And really doing well, being consistent too in the mixed racing Audi.
He just went past Mr.
Christopher Langeveld
and Marcus Steyn. Oh my word, he's finding himself in 5th. What is happening?
Marcus Steyn and Christopher had it off there.
I wonder if the Audi is proving a bit tricky to drive as we sort of reach the 10-lap phase. Sort of mid-engined. Perhaps not ideal for the long distance. Let's see how we go. Gabriel So certainly has got it under control. So does Bashir Jadwat. But I've just noticed the other drivers are sort of battling to keep it on the black stuff.
I'm sorry, Gabriel Rousseau will keep a tricycle under control.
Amir Sinarain down to 7th now and drops down another position 8 as well, and then 9th 2. Is it 9th? Is Chris Brown is looking to pick up a position around the outside.
There's something seriously wrong with that Audi.
Oh, there is
my word.
Wesley Ferrand getting it sideways there and going off the track, losing a lot of positions.
Going pear-shaped here very quickly.
Perhaps this is exactly why Ghostworks have gone for the harder tire. That are much durable and able to withstand the fast corners. See how this plays out. I see Gabriel has lost a bit of time to Jadwat. Has he? No, he's picked up about half a second in fact. The timing doing the dance as it does.
Just looking down the field, Chase Gunther, he's been lapped by all the drivers on the track, but he's starting to unlap himself at the moment, overtaking Nazim Edwards. I get the feeling today is going to be all about consistency. All these small mistakes costing you 5 to 10 seconds, that's going to make the difference. If you can keep it on the track, you're going to get a good finish. And that's where Gabriel Rousseau and Bashir Jadwat, that's their strong point. Gabriel missed the consistency at the front. Let's see what happens.
We've got a strong run here by Matthew Boy in the lone Ferrari. Up into 6th position and looking strong, looking nice and consistent. He's currently trying to chase down and recovering Chris Langeveld.
Mugello is actually one of those tracks that will expose inconsistency in your driving and in your skills very quickly. It's one thing being able to put together a very fast lap. It's another thing being able to do that with regularity in a 50-lap race. It's the kind of track where the difference between someone that qualified 0.1 of a second ahead of everyone else, but overall being a little bit more consistent, it's the difference between that person ending up a minute in front of the guy behind him at the end of a 50-lap race. Like you said, those small little errors that can cost you 5 to 10 seconds here or there, it will add up very quickly, and it doesn't take much to pick up those kind of drops in lap times. Not around here.
Marcus Steyn and Chris Brown battling it out in their own straight. Chris Brown getting a nice toe. Not close enough.
Chris Brown, Mr. Smooth. Follow him around for a couple of corners. Look at that, Mr. Smooth. Apexes.
You could balance a nice cup of coffee on that dashboard.
Exactly, and not spill a drop.
50 kilometers into the race, 175 kilometer an hour average speed. Fastest lap so far, Gabriel Rousseau 148.332. Bashir Jadwat second fastest 148.4. And third fastest lap time, Nick Hodgson 149.3. So top two drivers at the moment, almost a second faster than the rest of the field. Already a 20-second gap between Bashir and Nick.
There's a reason the two running at the front is in our Pro Tier team. Very consistent, very fast drivers. Not unbeatable by a long shot.
Yeah, there's going to be a fascinating battle between Rousseau and Jadwat with the different tyres to see how their battle progresses throughout the race, and perhaps might set the tone for the rest of the season as to sort of how do you approach the race with different kinds of tyres. So it's a fascinating battle there developing. And we've got Gustav Jacobs, of course, on debut up into 4th position. Wow, look at that.
Let's hope he's got his results counter switched off inside his car. He doesn't know where he is currently, otherwise his heart might start pounding a little bit more than what it's supposed to.
Gert, do you expect any two-stop strategies today? From the guys on the mediums, probably.
Not forced, no. Not a chance. Not a chance. Unforced, yes. Guys like Chase Gunther will probably do 2 or 3 stops. But that's unforced. I don't think there would be a single forced 2-stop strategy here. Not with people trying to limit the amount of stops, and maybe even taking a tyre out there that might last race distance, like the hard tyres. I don't think there will be a forced 2-stopper here. Not a chance. The only time I will physically think that a 2-stopper will be viable is if you find yourself on a tyre that doesn't overheat and is easily a second and a half a lap faster than everyone else's race pace. That's when a 2-stopper might be viable. Other than that, not a chance.
On board now with Marcus Steyn chasing down Amrit Sinarain. Sinarain trying to break the toe, but Steyn's got a good run on him down the main straight towards turn 1. He's chosen the outside line after Sinarain's gone defensive, of course. See how this plays out, and Steyn's going to sweep around the outside, but here comes Sinarain with the switchback, slight contact perhaps. Steyn should have the better line for the next corner. No, he opts out of it, and Sinarain goes around the outside.
Well done, Amrish.
Nice intelligent driving by both drivers, in fact. But Sinarain just pretty a bit wiser in that instance. Let's see what Steyn can come up with now. Back on board with Steyn now. And we're approaching Casanova corner, one of my favorites. Going to cut the apex nice and early. Both drivers doing a sterling job. I think better lines here by Sinarain, I would say. Sinarain nice and aggressive into Arabata 1 and then Arabata 2. Lets it run wide.
Gustav Jacobs made a mistake. He's very slow out in front.
Gave up position to Matthew Boy, Leandro Sparks.
Falling down the field.
Dropping like a stone.
He's doing 15 kilometers an hour. There we go. Oh, horrible. He was running in 5th.
I wonder if he outbraked himself sort of 2 corners behind is a tricky corner to get right sometimes, especially when you've got a good run through area batter 2. You can sort of be catch out yourself by how much pace you have and outbreak yourself. And perhaps that's what happened, fortunately happening off camera.
But that's the quality of the simGT field at the moment. Look at that. Anyone from about position 5 onwards, there isn't a gap larger than 5 or 4 seconds there. Majority of the gaps are less than 2 seconds going down that list. It's a tiny error that will find you off track, and you're having to navigate on the grass back towards that track. You will lose 10 spots like Gustav Jacobs just did there. This is nothing like 3 or 4 seasons ago where an error like that will cost you maybe 3 seconds, 14 laps into a race. Or 3 positions, 14 laps into the race. That one cost him 10 positions. You have to be on it, and from early on.
You see Marcus Steyn now ahead of Amrish Sinarain. So Steyn has gone up a position into 7th. And Sinarain down to 8th, of course. Now under pressure by Chris Brown. Chris Brown is part of the sister team to Amrish Sinarain's team, the mixed racing outfit. So interested to see if their team orders come into play here. Sinarain's going to let Chris Brown past. Perhaps a wise move. Perhaps Sinarain's now going to follow Brown and take it to Steyn again up front.
They've got Tim Smith close behind.
Tim Smith, part of Smith Racing. He is the team principal. Peter Kelvin is currently in 11th. Followed by Brent Lindsay-Ray. He's recovered nicely from the back of the field up to 12th position.
Amrish in the pits.
The pits. There he is. If he changes tyres now, he's on the medium.
I'm thinking he's repairing damage.
Perhaps.
Those positions he was giving away, that's not team orders. That was not
damage, probably.
Although there could have been enough time for a change of tyres and some fuel. Normally sort of damage takes a bit longer than that. But it's very early in the race to pit. Unless you are doing a 2-stop strategy.
Was he on the medium tires?
Yes.
Then he might have come out in the on the hard tires now.
His pit lane time was 42 seconds, so he didn't repair damage.
Yeah, I know.
That's strange.
Yassine Ismail, he's doing a fantastic job up to 12th. He started in last position. Brent Lindsay-Ray as well, he's in 11th. He started in 18th. Chris Brown and Tim Smith also doing fantastic jobs. Chris Brown started 14th, he's up to 8th. And Tim Smith started 15th, he's up to 9th.
Is Amrish still on the medium tires right now?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
That might be a 2-stopper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Possibly.
thinking. Perhaps it could be a good play. Amrish falling back, in clear air. You can focus and not have anyone around him, and just go for it. He's got 11-second gap to Nazim Edwards up front, but perhaps he's going to put the hammer down and really go for it now and see what he can do.
Bashir Jadwat has just made a mistake somewhere. He's losing ground to Gabriel Rousseau. Lost about 4 seconds there.
Just saw like a puff of dust there through that last corner. Perhaps he went and did a bit of farming. Suddenly he is 18 seconds behind Rousseau. Kotchen feeling a bit lonely in 3rd. They're doing a cracking job. His last lap was a 49.4.
I need to show these liveries to my wife. The liveries there of Dodge and Gut Racing. My wife is in love with the color turquoise.
Yeah.
She sees that, she's going to ask me to respray her Nissan Tida like that.
Yeah, it's quite striking, I must admit.
Good looking car.
I like what Christopher did as well.
Shades of HRT in there.
Yeah, and some Valentino Rossi too at the 46.
Oh, nicely
stunning.
picked up there. Little Easter egg.
There we go. Stunning. I quite like this one too, Leandro Sparks Racing. Leandro
The
Racing.
car doesn't look too great right now, but
Yeah.
the paint looks awesome.
Leandro Racing with his father Stephen in the Sparks Racing outfit, and Stephen just not qualifying for the top split, but he was almost there. Just I think it was about 0.3 of a second off the pace. Not a bad effort by Stephen. Here comes Mark.
I'm actually looking forward to the day that Stephen Sparks qualifies for main event simGT.
I'll tell you what, he's not far off, eh? He's been very impressive.
Because he's been steadily gaining in confidence, skill, and determination over the course of the last couple of months in the club events, open racing events. And I remember the first evening that he came to race, and he was so far off the pace, he got lapped by a couple of people. Now all of a sudden he finds himself in contention, like barely missing out on a simGT.
Yeah, no, he could be my pick to take victory of the challenge split on Wednesday evening as well, which will see him qualify for the main race. Of course, the top 3 from the challenge split will go through to the following round of this split. Did you see Nick Hodgson make an error?
Oh dear.
Run wide. So he would have lost quite a bit of ground to Bashir Jadwat.
Missing a brake marker. Very easy to do. Going downhill, missing it by not even a meter, and it will see you just being spat out the other end. I'm in this corner. And what makes missing your brake marker so punishing is the new tire model, because there is very little in the way of forgiveness when it comes to overextending that slip angle on the front tires. If you miss your brake marker and you feel as if the car's simply not turning in because you're carrying too much speed into a corner, it will lose grip, and it's actually going to exacerbate the whole experience for you, just because you missed it by a little bit. And then of course the track doesn't help as well, being Mugello.
Seems like Wesley Ferrantes made a mistake on that last lap. He lost about 25 seconds.
That's a huge amount of seconds.
Sounds like a spin to me.
He still seems to be going slow. Okay, now he's speeding up now. 30 minutes into the race, gentlemen. A lot of action so far. Quite enjoying it.
I find it quite strange that Amrish is currently sitting in 19th. He didn't come out of the pits in 19th position.
Chris Brown made a mistake there off the track. Being Brent Lindsay right 10th position.
An attempt by Lindsay Ray, having a sneaky look up the inside of Holden-Jones. Holden-Jones just shutting the door. Holden-Jones got a better run through that corner, open up the gap back to Lindsay Ray ever so slightly, but it's just 0.6 of a second between them at the moment. We're going to go back on board with Lindsay Ray into turn 1 we go, into braking, where the Audi should be a bit better.
I'm gonna give my Italian another go. How about
Hey.
that? To the left-hander, Materassi. Into Borgio, right-hander. Coming up to Casanova. Your turn, Jason. Quick right-hander.
That's Casanova, if I'm not mistaken.
And then, yes, your Casanova turn. And then into the left-hander, Savelli. And then the two quick right-handers, Arabiata 1 and 2. Up to the highest portion of the circuit here. Over the hill into Scarperia, right-hander. Into Pelagio, left-hander. Then we get to a tricky turn here up front where you can easily drift wide. We saw a couple of guys go off here. This is Karen Tayo. I'm sure I got that wrong.
Yeah, no, that's a difficult one. Corentillo. It's
Corentillo. There we go.
Corentillo. And Butsenio. I'm not sure how to say it.
Here we go. Last turn, Puccini. Onto the 1. Puccini.
Yeah.
Onto the 1.4 kilometer home stretch. Total distance of 5.2 kilometers to lap.
Andre Sparks having a stunning run, currently in 5th position. He's got a recovering Marcus Steyn behind him. He's starting to put pressure on him.
Yeah, Leandro Sparks is not going to enjoy this very much. Marcus Steyn, when he catches a sniff of you, he can be quite relentless.
Leandro Sparks, part of the RSA Protea Sim Sports team, our Sim Race South Africa team that we developed with the talent we have at Sim Race South Africa, and he'll be competing in the VLMS 4-hour of Indianapolis on the 30th September, if I'm not mistaken, together with teammates Brent Lindsay-Ray and Rainer Gerber. We're very excited to see how they go in that race. As I say that, he makes a mistake and off he goes. So the classic
Exactly.
commentator curse. And how it goes sometimes. But yeah, this is a very tricky corner. And Marcus will be saying thank you very much. And as I say that,
and he
every time I
catches it.
mention someone's name, they make a mistake. But wow, what a save, as you say, Kat.
Jason, you're going to need to shut up, buddy.
Who
Jason,
else do you want to slow down? Gabriel, let's talk about Gabriel.
Jason, if I ever get in that position running 5th, you don't mention my name, okay?
The man that shall remain nameless is running in 5th. Jason is jinxing people here, right, left, right, and center. If we find a driver out on this grid that we simply don't like, we must just go Jason into saying his name multiple times.
Well, Gabriel's looking a little bit too fast, isn't he?
Start out in front and work your way back, even out the
That's
field.
it. We'll do ballast by cursing.
Yeah, we don't
Exactly.
need the ballast.
Yeah, curse ballast. You wish you want your weight ballast back.
You realize that Gabriel is your teammate in the Protea team. if something happens to him right now, I don't care whether or not he's a superstitious bloke or not. He's probably not going to talk to you for the next week.
Yeah, but it's sort of my case doesn't apply to aliens. I'm sure you'll handle it fine.
Okay. Well saved, this.
We just had an incident. Brent Lindsay-Ray and Peter Geldnys, they were battling out for 10th, and looks like both of them went off the track.
0.
They lost 12 and 15 seconds respectively, so that was bad.
Aren't they teammates?
Lindsay Ray and?
Peter Geldnys.
No, they're not teammates.
No.
Oh.
Holden-Jones is part of Redline Racing and Lindsay Ray is part of Echo Racing.
That's correct, Mundo.
I think we're entering the pit stop window now, so I won't be surprised if one of them goes into the pits. Oh, they keep going. Peter's last lap, 2:05, and Brent Lindsay Ray's last lap at 2:02.
The stunning livery designed by Chris Heineke.
As always.
He's cut his scheme from last season, which I really liked, and sort of merged it with a finish flag. Nice touch. Looking strong in 11th position.
Pity about his earlier incident at the start of the race because he was doing so well up until that point. Very good recovery drive.
Matthew Boy showing that the Ferrari can be competitive here at Mugello, looking strong in 7th position, just matching his best Delta time so far. 23 laps into the race. So the Ferrari looking to look after those, what tires are actually, probably your medium tires, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, no, he's on the hard tire in fact. So some fantastic pace here by Matthew Boy. Perhaps looking to go long. Let's see where he ends up towards the end of the race. Someone's gone off. Who's gone off? Nobody. I must be hearing things.
Looking at my track map, the drivers are quite spread out over the track at the moment. Only action really that's not showing up is Chase Gunther unlapping himself. He just unlapped himself from Wayne Wortley, so he's unlapped 6 guys so far. Still obviously have a long way to go. And we could start seeing pit stops anytime now. Jason, can we go to Leandro Sparks in 6th place? Leandro Sparks, behind him Matthew Boy and Tim Smith. Closest battle at the moment. Okay, Yassine Ismail, he's in the pits. Enters the pits from 14th.
Get those stopwatches out. Gabriel and Bashir's pit stops.
Gabriel has just lapped Wesley Ferrand, so he is getting some traffic. It will make sense for him to do his pit stop soon. On board with Matthew Boy. Nick Hodson in the pits as well. And we could see a long train of cars entering the pits. Yep, there we go.
Matthew Boyd, the
Boyd
dummy
just
there.
Dummy a pit entry. He dummied a pit entry like a rugby player.
Yeah.
And
With
he
a
sent the
sidestep.
guy behind him into the pits.
He's like, check this. He ducked out of it.
You go pit. I'll pit later.
Do you think that'll work? Was it just for show?
I have no idea. I bet if he knew exactly how good that looked, he's going to say it was planned.
Nick Hodson out of the pits, so is Tim Smith and Leandro Sparks. Brent Lindsay Ray in the pits, as is Gustav Jacobs. Amrish has made his stop, and Yassine Ismail. Nick Hodson dropped from 3rd to 7th. Brent Lindsay Ray exits in 17th. Just as he exits, he's about to be lapped by Bashir.
Werner, has Shiraz done a pit stop yet?
Let me see. No.
Okay, so he was up into 8th position, now he's down to 14th. And that Nissan's looking very second-hand at the moment, so he's clearly at an off somewhere.
Christopher in from 3rd place. He's about to be passed by Marcus Steyn. Tim Smith has stopped. He stopped his car. And then he's going again. Christopher Langeveld, Tim Smith, Chris Brown all stopping now. This is Tim Smith's 2nd stop. Oh, he's disconnected. So he teleported to the pits. Gabriel Rousseau, race leader, he enters the pits. He was 24 seconds ahead of Bashir.
It's going to be interesting. Bash is now leading for the first time this race.
Gabriel's going to get a bit of traffic, yeah. So that may help Bashir Jadwat to some extent.
That's Yassine Ismail in front of him. Blue flags out for him.
Interesting to see how long Jadwat goes on the hard tire. Let's see how his strategy plays out. But he may hang on to the lead for a while yet.
He's also going to get some traffic. Ahead of him is Gustav Jacobs, Shiraz Dada and Amrish Sinaran. Matthew Boy in the pits from 4th. He was on the hard, so he's not pushing his stint. Gert, the fuel load on the cars, how far can you get with a full fuel load?
Full fuel?
Yeah.
Full fuel load, you can probably do the entire race. If you've got one of these low usage vehicles. And listen, unfortunately, that's all I've got to work with in comparing these things. If I remember correctly, the full fuel load's like 130 liters. To get through one half stint of of a 90-minute race, you needed roughly 80
Whoa.
liters of fuel.
Shiraz Dada and Bashir enters the pits.
Yeah. So Jadwat didn't go much longer at all. Just what, a lap further than.
Now let's see if he
Brazil?
takes tyres though. How quickly he gets out of the pits.
Hmm.
I'll be surprised if he does.
Here comes Rousseau.
Okay.
Is he going to take it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Hodgson, he's at turn 12 now, so he's still far behind. He'll easily exit in front of Nick. Drivers still to stop: Marcus Steyn running in 3rd, and Peter Geldnys running in 6th, and Nazim Edwards also has to stop. There we see Marcus Steyn entering the pits now.
Yeah, as I was saying, the Nissan certainly can't go from start to finish on a full tank of fuel. You're gonna have to go in for a splash and dash because that car is quite thirsty. But there's the odd car that's not as thirsty that probably could get through 90 minutes of racing with a full tank of fuel.
I remember with a Ferrari I couldn't do a full race distance, probably up to 80%, and that's it.
That's same on the Nissan. The Nissan will probably use 160 liters, just under 160 liters of fuel over 90 minutes. Fuel tank capacity is not quite that much. Closer to 130.
So Marcus Steyn, I think he put it from 6th position and he comes out in 6th position. So, if I'm not mistaken, and he's got Chase Gunter. He's a lap down, unfortunately, for Chase.
Marcus entered in 3rd, he exited in 6th. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he's lost out, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that may have been a little bit of damage repairs as well.
New fastest lap by Gabriel Rousseau, 148.0.
That's incredibly quick.
Especially for racing trim. There we see Brent Lindsay Ray going slow at the moment. Oh, he was being lapped. That's why.
Did have an off too.
Peter Geldnys in 5th, he still has to pit. The pit stops worked quite well for Gabriel. He was about 14 seconds ahead before his pit stops.
Just to give the viewers out there an idea of how quick and consistent Gabriel Rousseau really is. During our practice event in the VEC a weekend or so ago, him piloting and doing the qualification run in the car, the Nissan Aurica. There's 3 divisions essentially that were set up to determine which cars are going to be running in which division for the upcoming VECs. And Gabriel Rousseau in qualification posted the 2nd fastest qualification time across all 3 divisions combined. Barely missing out on the fastest qualification time in class. And there's easily about 50 to 55 cars running across those 3 divisions. This is an international competition. That is the caliber of driver that Gabriel Rousseau has developed himself into over the last couple of seasons.
And absolutely, and of course, leading the race throughout his first stint as well, convincingly. I won't speak about the rest of the race, but it certainly was very impressive throughout that first stint.
Yeah, no, look, we can't really speak too much. It's unfortunate things, you know, that occurred for both cars. But what it comes down to is one-on-one, Gabriel Rousseau is probably one of the quickest drivers in the VEC in the P2 part.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is not any small feat.
Even in the 2017.1 season, where he obviously won, he was the only driver to finish in the top 10 all of his races. Two
Even
wins
with major success
with the
success
ballast. Yes. And he had a lot of ballast.
From the second race onwards, he was driving with 80 kilograms consistently.
Yeah, in the Porsche as well. It's not an easy car to drive too.
Gabriel on another plane at this moment. There's no snakes on that plane.
He's lapped everybody up to Chris Brown so far. Somebody I want to highlight is Chase Gunther. After his 2 stops he had to make, he's back in the action. He's right behind Shiraz Dada now.
Oh, he's actually in fact
up...
fighting for position.
Yes.
Right. Wow.
He's back in the game.
Gonna take him too.
20 laps to go. He can still
Well,
make a couple of places.
Considering that he already pitted, it may have been a forced pit stop, but considering that he already pitted, if he came out with considerable fuel load to get to the end of the race, is he currently running on the hard tires? Yes, he is.
Yes.
He doesn't need to pit anymore. So while everyone else pitted, he made up about half a lap on everyone in that time.
But I think it was about lap 5, so I'll be truly
It's going to
impressed.
be touch and go. It's going to be touch and go. You might need to lift and coast from here to the end a little bit, going into certain corners, but he can probably make it work. Let's hope he can. Just to get back at least 1 or 2 spots. There's such a huge gap between himself and Wesley Ferrand right now. Oh, sorry, not so much there. It's between Wesley Ferrand and Yassine Ismail. That he probably doesn't have a huge chance right now to even catch, let's say, a top 15 position. But anything can happen. Doesn't look too good, but at least he's got a marker in front of him. That marker being Wesley. Can he catch Wesley before the end of the race? 18 laps to make up about 15 seconds.
Yeah, we see Amrit Sinoran, who put it very early, straight back up into the top 10 at the moment. So good recovery, or good strategy by Sinoran so far. If he can maintain without pitting again towards the end of the race. But yeah, top 10 so far for Sinoran. Impressive stuff.
Peter Geldnys just had a massive off. He lost 20 seconds.
Oh.
Still losing time. He's coasting. He is back in action.
He's got a problem. He's slowed down. I wonder if he's running out of fuel.
Why would that be? Did he already pit?
I don't know, unless he's forgotten to put fuel in the car.
No, he hasn't pitted.
He hasn't pitted.
No.
Oh dear.
Nazim Edwards also still has to pit.
Oh god. Justin and recovering, not too bad. See what happens now.
Yep.
Let's see if he can-
Yeah, there you go.
I think he was short shifting earlier as well.
With the Road America race, I ran out of fuel as I entered the pit and I coasted all the way to the box.
I'll be right back.
And Nazim is in the pits as well. So now everybody has made their stop. we look at Nick Hodgson, he got a podium in his last race in the 2017.1 season at Spa. He finished 7th in the championship, doing a brilliant job in 3rd. Started 9th. Christopher Langeveld is closing in on him. Christopher's last lap was 0.8 of a second faster than Nick. So Nick will have Christopher right up behind him within 3 or 4 laps. Gabriel Rousseau is going to be up behind Amrish Seneron to lap him quite soon, and then he would have lapped half the field. Really a dominant performance today.
Yeah, Rousseau really showing his class as a driver this evening. And a good outing, first outing in the new Audi R8 LMS 2016 version. And together teammates with Amrish Seneron, the man he's about to put a lap on. I'm sure Seneron won't make it too difficult for him. But yeah, mixed racing, White doing very well, leading the race, and with Rousseau and with Seneron completing the top 10 too, so nice solid points haul here for mixed racing White.
At the moment we have Audi, BMW, Audi, and our top non-Audi or BMW is Matthew Boy in the Ferrari running in 7th. 1 hour into the race, as we see Gabriel Rousseau lapping Amrish.
Nice and tidy there by Seneron.
Not far up the road we have Chris Heineke, Gustav Jacobs, Matthew Boy and Shiraz Dada, so you could pretty much lap everybody up to Gustav Jacobs. Well, still 15 laps to go.
Right, I'm back. Did I miss anything?
Gabriel at an off. Do you believe that?
No. the only way he would have had an off is if everyone else had an off as well. even if I didn't see the times, I would still not have believed it, because that dude doesn't have offs. He has flirts with being off. He doesn't have offs. See what I say? He just caught a bit of sideways action there. Flirts with going, but doesn't go off.
Would you like some telemetry stats?
Absolutely.
Lay it on us.
Gustav Jacobs, he's just made 1,000 gear changes, making 30 shifts per lap. And the least amount of shifts is Wayne Wortley only making 17 gear shifts per lap. Quite a big difference. Gabriel Rousseau and Bashir both making 26 gear shifts per lap.
Well, it's fascinating. Who is doing 1,000 shifts?
It's Gustav Jacobs.
Okay, wow.
30 gear changes per lap. And Wayne Wortley making 17 per lap.
How many changes does Matthew Boy make, just out of interest, in the Ferrari?
19 per lap.
Interesting, the Nissan and the Ferrari are turbocharged as well, so perhaps different gearing to manage the torque from the turbo motors. The naturally aspirated motors perhaps have shorter gear ratios. Keep the power at the top.
I can speak from experience with a Nissan. You don't want a lot of gear changes with that car. The less gears you need to shift down in, or the less gears you need to shift down before you get to a corner, the better. And because the car's got such a very nice torque curve, you can actually get from very low revolutions in a high-ish gear out of a corner at almost an identical speed as you could with a lower gear. So the Nissan will definitely benefit from less gear changes around a track like this than more.
They probably got more usable torque with the Nissan and the Ferrari.
Yes.
So the turbo has been mapped throughout the rev range.
This corner, for instance, is traditionally a third gear corner, as well as this one. This one as well. At most, you're going to shift up once going down here, and then you're going to shift down once into third, into the left-hander, keep it in third, around the corner. You're going to then switch it up to fourth, and then take the next corner in fourth even.
I see the same thing with Shiraz and the other GTR. Also not making a lot of gear changes. Nick Hodgson,
keep
he's
the
had
gear
an
change
off.
to a minimum.
He lost 4 seconds on the last lap, and Christopher Langeveld has passed him. Third. And our race leader is about to lap Gustav Jacobs in 8th. I'm guessing he might even catch up to Leandre Sparks in 6th place before the end of the race.
Yeah, for someone that admittedly doesn't like driving tin tops, he sure as hell is very good at it.
Jason, can we go to Brent Lindsay Ray and Wayne Wortley, the battle for 12th?
Yep.
It seems Wayne just dropped off now. He was right behind him.
Gustav Jacobs is about to pass Matthew Boy. He just did it.
They were both being lapped, so he may have used that blue flag opportunity to make his move. Quite a mix of medium and hard tires in the top 10. No clear winner between mediums or hards. And it's also a mix between Audis and BMWs.
Field's starting to spread out quite appreciably between the leader all the way down to about 7th position. The only exception being the gap between Nick and Christopher. Position changes there will probably now only happen if there's a mistake made by someone.
Just past the 200 kilometer mark for this race, 172 kilometers an hour average speed. As we see Peter Geldenhuis right, oh, and he goes off, as he was behind Yassine Ismail.
He actually did very well to avoid Yassine, sort of outbraking himself and just dodging left to avoid him. He did well.
I get the feeling he tried a very late braking dive bomb maneuver on the inside, and then when the car closed the door on him, he needed to quickly move out towards the outside to avoid contact. The BMW quite notorious for being able to pull off this late braking dive bomb maneuvers successfully. Because it stops on a diamond corners like a fly on Red Bull.
Got a tasty battle developing between Chris Brown and Amrish Sinaran for 10th position. Sinaran coming back now, his strategy working for him after that early pit stop. And if he can make that Audi last towards the end without stopping again, he's on for a solid result here, is Sinaran.
Dicky's doing all he can to cling to the back of Christopher Langeveld. Obviously not an easy task. But that 4 to 5 second gap is a very enticing little gap to try and close down in the next 8 laps. Oh my word!
Gert, you got to make this time.
Yes.
And it strikes again. The thing that shall not be named. The commentator's curse. Dun dun dun. The cameraman's fault. Never have moved to that driver.
Course. The poor cameraman.
We would never have commented on the driver if we didn't see him on track. Or we would have been completely blind to the gap increasing.
Yes, that'll work.
Leandre Sparks has closed the gap to Marcus Steyn a little bit now. I think Marcus Steyn may have made an error there somewhere.
And Peter Geldenhuis is also right behind Yassine Ismail.
Sparks in a bit of traffic at the moment. Perhaps maybe Steyn was in the same traffic, which slowed him down. Now Sparks is experiencing it. Yeah, Sparks now 7 seconds behind Steyn.
Really good showing here from Leandre, always improving as well.
Absolutely. And Chase Gunther looking to take 17th position away from Nazim Edwards. To add another notch to his comeback run, his recovery drive after problems during the start of the race, I think it was. So where is Chase going to make his move? Let's go on board with him. He'll be looking to size up Nazim to see where he's weak and then pounce when he can. Got a good drive now. He'll be brave to go around the outside into this corner, surely not. Perhaps he's going to slingshot his way around the inside.
My money would be on him to, if no serious mistakes occur here, is rather to take the slipstream down the start finish.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kat. He'll be looking for a good drive out of the next corner. Oh, he's late on the brakes.
Early turning now, early turning, getting on the gas early and hoping it sticks. Come on. This is crucial. Smooth as you can. Close as you can.
Nice.
Oh my word.
The outside.
And he made it stick.
Nice and brave. Fortune favors the brave.
Now there's another 2.5 seconds to the car in front.
We had an incident further down the field between Peter Geldenhuis and Yassine Ismail. Both of them lost 15 seconds.
Oh my
Something
word.
must have happened there.
Well, that's surely lessened the pressure on Wayne Wortley a little bit. He's safe for the next 6 laps now from an onslaught from Peter. It's going to be interesting to see if Chase can, over the course of the next 6 laps, catch Wesley Ferrand and pass him.
Then there's a big gap in front to Yassine Ismail.
Yeah, I doubt that gap's going to be bridged though. So, again, if you find yourself that far back, the only thing that's left to motivate yourself is these little markers, these little battles that you set for yourself. Right now, the last battle that he's got is catching Wesley Ferrand, and that's where it's going to end. I must say, Wesley's car don't look too great. Wesley's car looks like it's one tiny little knock away from losing a bonnet. I can also imagine what the tires must be like on that car of Chase Gunther, because he's been driving with that tire since lap 15, if not earlier.
It's nice and consistent. He's just 2/10 down his best delta time, so he's managing it nicely. Slightly improved through those couple of corners.
His fastest lap was a 149.8. It's pretty good.
The Chase's last lap was a 51.1 and Ferrand was a 50.9. So they're just about even, I would say, but I think Gunther's closing in this lap round.
Yeah, look, that bonnet wants to lift off there.
There in the background we see Gabriel Rousseau closing in on more victims to get lapped.
Non-suspecting victims.
It's not his victims, it's his prey. Please move the camera away from Gabriel before he crashes.
I think he's immune to the curse. We should test it. One whole race, just focus on Gabriel. If he doesn't go off, then he's immune.
I think he'll stop talking to us if anything happens to that car. He'll stop talking to us for at least 2 months.
Gabriel says left your WhatsApp group.
Yeah, I'm going to flatline. Where they appreciate me.
Yeah.
1.6 seconds now. No longer 2.6, so he made up a second over the course of the last 2 laps. If he can just shrink it by another 0.2 or 0.3, he's going to look really big in the rearview mirror for Wesley, and that's where the test of character is going to come. Wesley having to keep this car behind him for the next 4 laps. Comes down to getting a very good drive out of this corner, catching a bit of a toe, and getting up really close and personal with that car from Wesley.
Chase's previous lap was 0.8 of a second quicker, and the lap he just finished was 1.1 seconds quicker, so he's closing in really fast. He is actually the 4th fastest man on the track at the moment. Gabriel Rousseau consistently putting in the fastest laps. His last lap 148.6.
That is disgusting.
He's also got the fastest sector times in all 3 sectors.
Again, utterly disgusting. Wesley would have lost some time there, and that's the beauty of mirror pressure. Watch the wheels touch the outside of the track a couple of times now. The closer the car gets, the more difficult it's going to become for him to keep to his lines, keep the mistakes to a minimum, keep the tires in check.
Oh, moment there
go.
for Wesley. There's the pressure.
Yeah, but now do
This is
you?
gonna be
He
tight.
had to give it up.
And then we
Here
see
comes Gabriel
Gabriel.
too.
Gabriel.
Devours more victims. But this could give Chase a chance for getting a toe.
Wesley's
Yeah,
gone
but now
for the
they
toe.
all come
Wesley
on.
goes for the toe.
Gabriel. The Lambo is looking to get back past the Audi. Just shows the power of the Lambo.
Oh, look at that!
Great stuff.
Few laps to go after this lap. Can Chase catch Wesley? I'm putting my money on him.
Yeah, they both go.
Oh. Playing follow the leader through the sand trap.
It takes some serious skill to drive this close to another car as well, especially when you're running a low downforce setup. Because the dirty air developing behind the car in front of you, it's not easy to navigate that, especially on these fast corners at Mugello.
Dying to know what his tires are like at the moment, Chase.
It will be shreds. Oh, there he goes. Pressure.
Well done.
Bad luck, Wesley.
Nazim is 28 seconds behind them, so Wesley is still safe. In 17th.
So Chase is a good, 13 seconds behind Yassine. I think it's a bit too much for Chase to do anything about that.
Only other battle at the moment is Chris Brown behind Chris Heenop, 1.5 seconds on 9th. They are coming up behind Nazim Edwards to lap him.
Nazim doing a fine job, moving out the way.
Some of these cars looks like they can do with a good buff. And a nice wax. Using every inch of the track. Gabriel with a soap.
And you will be on the final lap. This is it, the final
Look
lap.
how consistent that was. That was a couple of thousandths difference between the previous lap and that lap.
His best lap was a 148.030. That last lap was a 149.033.
And the lap just before that one?
No, sorry, I can't see that.
Okay. I think there was a couple thousandths difference between
Yeah.
those two laps.
Yeah, he's now 2/100ths of a second difference between his current lap and his best lap time. So there you go. There's the consistency shown. Now 8/100ths.
Look how
or-
he's using the apexes. Every inch of the curb he's using. Anything that he can use safely, he uses. Touching the white lines. Using every inch that he can.
Keep in mind, he's been lapping guys the whole time. And he still keeps his lap times consistent.
Just 2 corners remaining for Gabriel so to take victory here at Mugello. And he will start off his simGT campaign with maximum points for himself and Mixed Racing White.
He started in pole position. He's got the fastest lap of the race, and he led 48 out of the 50 laps. Truly dominant performance.
Yeah, and it was pitting.
Rousseau wins. Congratulations to him. Stunning victory. Bashir Jadwat will come home in 2nd position.
That drive is going to leave Bashir Jadwat scratching his head. What on earth is Gabriel eating, drinking and sleeping? It's not the same as us, that's for sure.
And a very impressive performance by Chris Langerveld will earn him a podium position finish, an overall podium. Look at that, on debut in the South African simGT series. And he also, of course, win the GT class for drivers taking part in their first season at SimRace South Africa in the Pro Series. A great result for him and Redline Racing.
Fantastic result.
Gert, your driver of the day. You're not allowed to say Gabriel.
No. I am going to have to give that to Matthew Boy. There's quite a few very good performers. I mean, a couple of honorable mentions should be Chase Gunther for his drive from the back and providing some late race entertainment. Guys like Chris Heenop that came agonizingly close to a top 10 position. Bashir Jadwat and Gabriel Rousseau doing a fantastic job right up front. But the drive of the day for me has to be Matthew Boy, because he's driving in a car that no one else is driving. He doesn't have any input from anyone else with regards to a setup on that car, not at this moment in time. And he finished in a respectable, where is that now? If I'm not mistaken, it's an 8th position. In very much uncharted territory with that car. So for me, I would give it to Matthew Boy. A very, very close second would be Christopher Langerveld.
Yep, agree. Fantastic job, debut.
In actual fact, I would actually swap the two around.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Gert.
Yeah, I would actually swap the two around. I would give it to Christopher Langerveld and then Matthew Boy in a very close second.
Yeah. Because I mean, Chris Langerveld, it's his first season driving the BMW, and yeah, he's been fast straight away, and to take on other drivers the same car, and yeah, come home with the overall podium position. That's truly impressive. He's my man for this evening as well.
Yeah, the only reason I would have thought Matthew Boy at that point in time, when asked, was because there's no help from anyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's no one that he can lean on. It's a completely uncharted territory for him, and he's got issues with tire preservation over a long race stint. For him to actually squeeze out, being the only driver in the Lambo, squeeze out a top 10 position out of that race was remarkable. But then again, and at the same time, we all saw that Langerveld coming into this series would be a contender for at least regular podium positions. We all could see that. in the club races and in the open races. But us being able to see that still needed to convert that promise into a result. And that's why I would definitely change my mind and say he's basically the driver of the day.
Yes, I fully agree with you, Christopher Langeveld. You can just imagine. Well, I got to say, my first race, I was just so much nerves. That's fantastic job from him, finishing on the podium. And for me as well, Nick Hodgson starting in 9th, working his way up to 4th place. And like you said, Chase Gunther, not giving up, being a lap down on everybody and fighting his way back. And then obviously Gabriel was so just dominating.
He's from another planet.
Yeah, and somebody else had mentioned it as well. I think Amr Sinran had a good race. Just 1 or 2 errors, but sort of qualifying in the hot lap qualifying session through the weekend to notch up a top 6 result from those sessions. And to come through from starting further down, I think where did you start? Werner, do you know?
No, sorry, I can't see now.
I think, yeah, it might have been 13th or so, something like that. Anyway, to finish in 11th position after being down sort of in the hot lap qualifying to come through, he did very well. And Chris Brown also very consistent to come through in 9th. And yeah, I expect to see Chris Langeveld really challenging the front 2 in round 2, perhaps. I think the BMW will be a bit better at Monza. So that'll be interesting to see Nick Hodgson 2 in the BMW. Who else in there? Chris Brown 2. And
Gustav Jacobs also doing a fantastic job on debut.
Absolutely.
Well, there's a lot of positives to be taken out of this race for a lot of drivers. Just because you finished in the bottom of the field does not mean that you had a terrible race. By your own standards, you might have, but considering, the talent on display, it's actually just an accomplishment to have finished the damn race.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then in general, to see all 20 guys pitch up for the race, that's fantastic. There were no shows, everybody.
Yeah.
And another thing, the back markers, everybody playing very nice and giving way, considering so many guys on debut on the track, doing a fantastic job staying out of the way of the guys lapping them.
Yeah, generally the quality at Simrace South Africa has been very good throughout the years, but certainly this season, the last season, the quality of driving has certainly come up quite a noticeable difference, which has been very exciting to see. Sort of the guys a lot closer together, sort of being able to watch each other and anticipate what's going to come next, and just in generally doing the right things, which I think is very exciting to see.
That's an awesome thing to witness. Doing the right things at the right time comes with practice, and it comes with regularly running with the best there is at simRace South Africa. And the fact that a lot of the open races consists of some of the best drivers we have at simRace South Africa, along with the newer talent. Yes, there will be incidents now and again, but more often than not, people learn, and then they tend to not make the same mistakes in subsequent races thereafter. And then once you do make that transition from the open races to the M2 Cup, for instance, you will have an event like we just had in the first race in the M2 Cup where the quality of racing was superb. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some GT events in the past go completely haywire, and you can't even compare previous some GT races, which has gone wrong, to what we've seen in the first M2 Cup race like a week ago. You can't compare it. And then to see that same kind of standard brought through to a race here at Mugello in trying circumstances, a lot of people driving a car that they haven't driven before, half the field in actual fact, this new Audi, it made for really good racing and intriguing watching.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me this evening. It was fantastic. Thank you very much, Gert and Werner.
My pleasure. It was awesome
Thanks,
as
guys.
always.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. It was
And-
fantastic. Thank you.
Absolutely, and we'll be streaming again on Wednesday evening for the South African simGT Challenge split, which is the second split to this main split that top split we'll watch this evening. And we have two splits on Wednesday evening, the challenge and then the cup split for the lower split. So we're looking forward to some more exciting racing this week. Well, from me, Jason Holden-Jones, Gert, James, and Werner Heenop, thank you very much for joining us. And we'll see you on Wednesday. Goodbye until then.
Oh.
Yes.